welcome into Off the Boards. We're Ethanless again, I think. I don't know, he might join at some point. If he joins, I'll put him on the screen. But as always, hi, I'm Josh. Over there somewhere is Ryan. One of these times, guys, I'll get it. I promise. But as I said,
I'm right here. I'm the other one.
We are Off the Boards, and well, guys, last week we broke down a lot of every trade. Of course, we've seen a lot of cool stuff with those players this week. We've seen but we're not gonna know the full effect of these players until the end. I'm gonna go on a Leafs rant today at some point, but Ryan, I'm sure, will roast me about the game on Saturday. But I got positives and negatives to say about the game. It's fine. But I want to start today talking about expansion drafts. I know we just had our 32nd NHL team come into the league, the Seattle Kraken, and they are really bad, really bad. I assumed that they would be close. I thought that they'd be a middle pack team. I really did, honestly. I didn't think they'd set the world on fire like Vegas did, but I thought they would at least have a chance, like a bubble team almost. But man, they look bad. They look really bad. Philip Grubauer's got a 904 or something right now, like a 902. And
it's not good. Might be better than it was, but it was really bad.
I feel bad for the guy, honestly.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I had some doubts about him being the guy after playing in front of Colorado, and his numbers weren't they were really good, but admittedly he's not got much to play behind playing in front of him, but he's got an 8.89 save percentage. Well, 319 goals against, 15, 27, and 5.
It's Colorado.
He came out of good situations, and I think that may have made him look a little bit better. It's not like a situation in Tampa where Vasilevsky is the best player on the team, but
this is gonna sound really dumb, but who's backstopping for Colorado right now? The Kemper?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he got traded there. I thought.
I believe it's Kemper.
Yeah. He might be hurt, but
where's roster? It is Darcy Kemper and Pavel Francouz back behind him.
I like Francouz. He seems like a pretty good backup.
Pretty decent.
But yes, what I want to discuss really is a few things. One, what was Seattle doing? Do you think that they were just trying to tank abysmally? Honestly, Ryan, do you think that they were just this was their goal, was to just know that they weren't going to be good?
I think they valued cap space more than they probably should have. And I think they knew being Vegas was unlikely. Mm-hmm. Repeating what they'd done was unlikely. So I think an inevitable starting out tanking was probably a good idea. However, maybe a better idea was to play ball with teams a little bit more in terms of protecting certain players, especially when they didn't go after necessarily the top tier players. They didn't go after Carey Price, which is probably for the best. They didn't go after Tarasenko was available. There were a lot of really good players that they could have taken and then maybe trade them for assets down the road.
Or like you said, just play ball more with the teams that are when they're it's a first round pick to protect anybody. Why was it a first?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And it obviously wasn't a first. It was a first until the draft was over, and then as soon as the draft was over, they gave Vanacek or whatever that goalie was back to Washington for a second.
Yeah. They started trading back players to their original teams, which just why? You could have played ball a little bit more, gotten the same picks, and just gotten a different player.
Well, and then at the deadline, they moved pieces, but nothing for a first. And like you said, they could have gotten better guys. They aren't even they're a bad team. They're not even the worst team in the NHL right now. It's not like they're it's not like they have 0 wins. They've won hockey games. So it's just.
Admittedly, I don't think they probably could have picked a team so badly they couldn't win a single game, and that would have been maybe a little too far. But still, the pick.
You know what I mean?
They could have picked better players and had a better team.
Yeah. And it's even if you are halfway through the year, you've got Grubauer. Let's see, I don't know, you guys are, I don't even know how many wins they have right now, but let's say you're a 25 win team or something like that, right? You could, if you want to sell, and you just want to tank the rest of the year, take all the pieces you drafted and sell them off, move them. What's the point, But instead, you guys took the joke was at the draft they took the tallest players in the draft. Like, it was just everyone they took was just over 6 feet tall, which I found hilarious. But you know, like, even some of their biggest gets were like Jaden Schwartz, Yanni Gord, and Jordan Eberle. Like, and guys like Tarasenko were available. Carey Price was available. I don't know. I can't remember a lot of the other big names, but there was quite a few substantial names that were up. Ovechkin was available too, wasn't he?
Ovechkin was a free agent, so he was technically available, though unlikely to have signed with them.
It would have been funny though, because we could have said for even 20 minutes that Alex Ovechkin didn't play his whole career in Washington. That would have been the joke. It would have been a good joke, just for, because I mean they wasted the pick anyway. They got a second, and it's Washington's second. Like, you know, it's
they also could have gotten guys like Neo Niederreiter, Max Domi, James Van Riemsdyk, you know, Shane Gostisbehere even, I think. You know, there were definitely guys they could have gotten.
Like, and those are, you know, they're not, obviously they're not superstar names per se, but they would help
if you want. Yeah, if you want to take them and trade them down the line, or just help get something set up in Seattle initially, you know, those guys would do the trick. Especially guys like Max Domi and Gosper who are on expiring contracts. They could trade them. But the deadline gotten free assets, right?
Like, this is the thing. Here's what confuses me the most. They took Giordano, right? And I know, and they traded him to Toronto, but they traded him to Toronto for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We didn't move the first on it. So what? I don't know. Like, it's weird because I know that they took a second because next year is going to be a really deep draft. But like I just said, it's the Leafs. Even if the Leafs get bounced in the first round this year and next year, which pray to God, please don't let it happen again. My psyche can't take it. But, like, that's still like a late teens, mid-20 pick, let's say. Like, you know, like, it's not a early. Of course, you can still hit on guys that are that late in the first round, but it's just, you know, Toronto's seconds are going to be middle of the pack seconds. Like, you know, and those guys tend to be a little bit harder to hit on. But like in this year's draft, especially next year's draft, I mean, I feel like all bets are going to be off. Like, the last deep draft we saw like this was probably like the Corey Perry draft, I think.
Like 2015 was pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, that 03 draft was nuts.
Well, yeah, the 03 draft is the greatest draft of all time, though 2015 could compete. So, I mean, if you look at guys picked around that area in 2015, even, you had guys like Daniel Sprong, Rube Hintz, Jordan Greenway, Rasmus Anderson, Vince Dunn, all of these guys are in there. So, I mean, like, they're still pretty good, and this is still fairly recently. You've even got guys like Sebastian Aho, who was taken in the second round that year.
The best,
a little bit early, but
I still think the best second round pick we've seen, because that's the good Aho, right? Or not that the other one's bad.
Yeah,
that's the
center Aho. That's the best second round pick in history.
Maybe not, but it's right now. Obviously not, because the guy's only played like 4 years. But I mean, Shane Gostisbehere should have been taken in the first round, and obviously, if we did a redraft, he'd probably be taken within the first 10 picks. Because the 2015 draft is like guys like Sprong would fall down the draft quite a bit. Don't get me wrong. Right now, Sprong actually is kind of putting together a pretty good year.
I mean, admittedly, I don't know who you take out of the first round.
I think it's Dylan Strome, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
I gotta look this up now.
Yeah. You're saying like guys could go higher in this draft, but I really don't know who had the first round. Like, I see like Jacob Zboril, Senyshyn, Evgeny Svechnikov, Ilya Samsonov maybe drops. Noah Juleson will drop. Nick Merkley and Gabriel Carlson will drop. Everybody else has over 100 games played. I guess somebody like Christian Fischer, Sebastian Aho, Travis Dermott also jump up. Brandon Carlo. Later in that draft, Anthony Cirelli went in the third round that year. Like, that was a good draft.
I remember, Ryan. So the day after this draft, because this was the one where we got Mitch. But I remember I was driving to my trailer. I was obviously 15 or 14 at this point. So I wasn't driving, but I was on my way there, and I remember I was listening to the radio because I wanted to know who the Leafs got in the second round, and that was Dermott. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then, you know, Dermott was a good player. We didn't have the space for him in Toronto, so I'm hoping he'll get a better shot at What's this kid's name? Dylan Strome, that's his name. Sorry. Dylan Strome has started to find his way in Chicago, at least it seems this season. I mean, 41 points in 54 games after putting up 17 and 40 last year. So this is his career high for... Actually, no, it's not. He had 51 and 58 in 2018. Interesting. This guy's got a really weird career. His numbers fluctuate a lot. Interesting. I mean, but this guy was... He was playing next to... on the same team as Connor. So... Honestly, yeah. I think his draft stock got boosted quite a bit by playing with the best player we've seen in 20 years. Well, it's not 20 years, but at that point, probably what Crosby draft was 06, 9 years.
05.
So 10 years.
Yeah.
That'd have been the best player we'd seen in a draft in 10 years.
Speaking of Connor's drafted in 2015, one of our favorite players, Connor Garland, was drafted in 2015.
Yeah, he was in like the... Is he a 4th round pick or a 6th?
I believe he was 4th round.
And
I'm looking now.
I know that everyone look
5th round pick.
The thing on Connor was that he was really small and that he kind of had an attitude problem. But I knew watching him on the Moncton team. Like if you have, don't get me wrong, I know that the Quebec Junior League is like the worst like competition out of the 3 Canadian like the CHL leagues.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're putting up like 150 or 168 points, he had one year where he might have put up like 170. If you're putting up those kind of numbers, you are probably a good player. I know that he was undersized, but I still to this day can't believe that guy fell to the 5th round.
I mean,
one of the only players in NHL history to score a goal with his face, Ryan.
There's that thing. He's one of the only players to score a goal with his face.
How many players do you know off the top of your head that have scored a goal with their face?
Not many. Admittedly, I didn't know Connor Garland either, so we'll see.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got the puck got bounced off. Puck got bounced off of his face. It's pretty gross. But yeah, no, he one of his teammates I think just took a shot and he like leaned into it and off his face if I remember correctly. But yeah, and I couldn't believe it. And then, you know, he played in Arizona and he was okay, and now we see him in Vancouver and he's actually doing pretty good. He was one of he was on the trade bait deadline list. He didn't get moved because I think Vancouver thinks that they can make the playoffs because they didn't sell and they didn't buy either, which really confuses me. Vancouver actually they got rid of Hamonic, I guess, but they replaced him with Dermott.
Yeah. I mean, they're not far out of the playoffs right now. Because they're only 3 points back.
It's because they're on the
Pacific. They're 3. I mean, they're 3 points back of Vegas. Admittedly, Dallas is 1 point back of Vegas with like 4 games in hand, but you know, still they're not that far out. Especially after their shit start, pretty impressive.
This is true. Did we just completely switch topics? Like, weren't we talking about the Kraken?
Oh yeah, the Kraken. Yeah, they probably. I mean, we said what we thought. I don't know that I had anything else to add really. Like,
yeah, but I wanted to talk more about stuff about these two, the Vegas and the Kraken. I want to compare them a little bit here. So,
all right, let's see.
Because what we saw with Vegas when they did their draft is Vegas went pure skill. Whatever they thought was skill. Because I remember at the time, even I was like, this team is a joke. Like, what?
I mean, they took some skill and they took a bit of grit as well. Like, I found they balanced that pretty well. I mean, the guys like Alexei Emelin from the Habs.
I thought their defense would be abysmal, and I thought that Fleury was just going to get lit up, and I was completely wrong. It was flat out wrong. He was great. The defense held strong. Took them to the Stanley Cup final. They didn't win, but if they would have, I would have just cried. That would have been inconsolable. You can't give it to a team that doesn't deserve it. But anyways, going on from that, what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to get at is, we saw this team built 2 different ways. The Kraken obviously are going for the draft heavy, try to get good players thing. Vegas didn't do that. Vegas just traded for a first round pick. In Jack Eichel, a high first round pick, and Jack Eichel is a good talent. I mean, the guy's got 14 points in 21 games right now. I think he has 7 goals and 7 assists, and he's like -2, I think. But Jack Eichel is a good player. I think that he will rebound from that neck thing, and I don't think it's the neck thing that's holding him back right now. I think there's probably the fact that he hasn't played hockey in like almost 2 years is probably one thing. And then most of his teammates that are goal scorers. I mean, obviously Jack did it all by himself on Buffalo, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming he'll be fine. He'll figure it out. But that's the thing. Right now, Vegas, like Ryan just said, Vegas is holding on to this playoff spot for dear life right now. Fighting against the Canucks and Dallas and the Jets. All four of those teams want that last wildcard spot that Vegas is sitting on right now. And honestly, it's gonna come down. It's gonna come down close. I really do think that. But
yeah, absolutely.
What I want to ask, which strategy do you like better? Do you like the expansion team draft coming in and tanking, or do you like the just try to build and win?
I don't know that like. Obviously, Vegas worked better. I think that's pretty unanimous, at least to start. I worry about what Vegas looks like 3 to 5 years from now. Because they have no prospects. They're starting to hit salary cap issues.
Yep.
No prospects, nothing, and guys are starting to get older. Their team isn't getting any younger, right? Like Dadonov's 33. Even William Karlsson, Jonathan Marchessault are in the 29 and 31.
Yeah.
Mark Stone's 29. Max Pacioretty's 33. Like, these guys are not getting younger. They've traded out Marc-Andre Fleury. Pietrangelo is 32. Martinez is 34. Like, you've got so many old players on big deals. I don't know how this is going to work in a few years.
I just need to say again, since we mentioned Fleury again, that guy was traded for nothing and then got traded for a conditional first. So, suck on that, Vegas. That's what happens when a team knows that you have to trade a guy.
Like,
you got
which is something which is what I think we're gonna start seeing with guys like Pietrangelo,
they still
Stone,
have to
Pacioretty. They're going to have to trade these guys in a few years. Even right now, they have to trade somebody.
They have to move someone today. Like, they gotta move someone before the playoffs. Well, actually, here's the thing. If they make the playoffs, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. If they make playoffs, it's fine.
But here's the ultimate thing. I don't think they make the playoffs without those guys. And I don't think that's a hot take. Like, I think that's serious.
Like, you look at their last 10, 4-6 in the last 10. Winnipeg's 7-3. Dallas is 5-5. Vancouver's 3-4-3, but that's still more points,
Yeah.
Or almost as many points, 9 to 10. But actually, no, it is not more points than Vegas.
They have 9 to 8.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at Dallas 5-5.
It's all good, buddy.
Like, they have to do something. They tried to trade Dadonov. That trade did end up getting nullified. Yeah, we thought that would be the case. The league made that official this week.
Respect to the league.
A trade is still possible. Yeah,
true.
Good on them. The league has actually, with this precedent, has started talks with the NHLPA to see if they can set up a central registry of no trade clauses and no move clauses.
They should have that. They should have that now. Like, that, to me, it's 2022. Like, how do we not have something like that?
The problem is things like that don't typically get made without a precedent for it being made. So unfortunately, this is a rather big instance of it happening where Vegas need cap space and traded a player and then couldn't. But this is the precedent that we're setting. Sucks for Vegas and Dadonov. Well, it doesn't suck for Dadonov so much. He gets to stay where he lives. But
the thing is, though, they still have to move a player, and it's probably Dadonov. And I kind of feel bad for the guy because here's the thing: you're about to get traded to probably a bad team, or even if it's a good team, you have to sit for the rest of the year. You can't play at all. You're still gonna get paid in full, which that's why I don't really feel that bad. He's still gonna make all of his money, but he's about to lose out on his job. Like, they're basically just gonna pay him to sit at home and not do anything for those 6 months. Which
I mean, realistically, he's getting paid to, instead of playing hockey, he's just gonna train.
Yeah, but
and for a guy 33, that may not be the worst thing in the world. He could use a little bit of a break, probably.
No, but if you're...
It still sucks, yeah.
If you're Dadonov right now, right, you still haven't won a Stanley Cup. This is probably one of your best chances you're going to get with Vegas, unfortunately, because that division is super weak. I'm sorry. Like, I know Calgary is good, but this division is stupid weak, and if the Golden Knights get into the first round, let's say they get the third seed, and they have to face the Kings, they'll probably win that series. Playoff experience is everything in the NHL.
Yeah. Admittedly, LA doesn't not have out. LA is one of the few teams that actually has quite a bit of playoff experience, especially in their older core.
You're right. The older core.
The younger guys don't have it though, but
yeah,
like they've got playoff experience. But they had to play a team like Edmonton. Yeah, face McDavid and Draisaitl, but other than that,
yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's Vegas is going to be like obviously they are a good team. I think that they are at the end of the day. I just think that there's a lot of things going on there right now, and like we said, they have to move someone, and either that or they have to try to ride things out until the playoffs and bring the players back. But you have to make the playoffs at the end of the day.
I'm wondering where do they trade Dadonov? Because he has a 10-team no trade clause that's still valid. He did have to put that list in when he was still playing for Ottawa, so I don't necessarily know if the Canadian teams would be on it. Typically, for a player with a 10-team no trade clause, they're the 7 first teams they put on it. Just moving to another country and the taxes, it's not worth for most players. Or he was in Ottawa, maybe they weren't already on this list. You never know. So he could go anywhere in theory. I think Arizona or Montreal is probably the safest bet. Seattle, maybe. They're in the same division. They may not want to help them out too much.
It's kind of here's the thing though. Are they?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Is Dadonov's contract up at the end of this year? Or does he still have term?
He's not up this year, but it's up next year. So they trade him to a team this year, and next year that team could trade him at the deadline.
In theory, obviously, you probably don't want to help out any team that's already pretty good, but I mean, at the end of the day, they could just trade him to a team like the Rangers. Like, at the end of the day, for nothing. I'm pretty sure the Rangers have a buttload of money. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain they've still got a boatload.
New York's got more money than a playoff team probably should have. They only have 4.9 though.
How much is that?
So you gotta be looking at 5.
Oh.
Yeah, so just under. So they can probably send somebody down.
Yeah, they can.
But it may not be worth it if because Dadonov's still probably worth assets even.
They wouldn't have to, because Dadonov's not playing this year. So couldn't they send the cap down though, even though he's not playing? Essentially waive the guy if you're getting him for nothing.
I don't. If he's on a one-way deal, then they can't.
Oh.
Well, in theory, they could send him down, but it's just not. They wouldn't get any benefit from it. And I don't see anything to say otherwise, so I'm going to assume it's a one-way contract.
Interesting. Well,
so,
like, then you're right. It's probably going to be one of like the bad teams. Could be even a team like Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit absolutely is a great option. Buffalo,
the Flyers, the Islanders, the Jackets. Like there are options.
Columbus, yeah.
The Devils.
Send them back to the Sounders.
This is true, but like you said, I'm assuming that he doesn't want to go to Canada.
I mean, if he put a no trade clause in Ottawa, Ottawa wouldn't be on the list. So
this is true. I don't want to take us away from this, but just for a second here, I do want to say my condolences to the Ottawa Senators and the family of Eugene Melnyk. Died at 62. I think it was complications of his. I think he had liver cancer and he had to get surgery for it 2 years ago. And I think that this was just not that anything's inevitable, but I think that this was what was going to happen. But yeah, Eugene bought the team in 2002. Was their manager for 20 or their owner for 20 years. I can't really say much about him because I'm not really a Sens fan, but that's a big loss to the hockey community today. And like I said, thoughts and prayers to the family of Melnyk here from everyone on Off the Boards.
Yeah, absolutely.
But going back to what we were saying about the Vegas and Seattle thing. So yeah, we saw the two teams built two different ways. But Ryan, at the end of the day, which team is going to win the cup first?
I have more faith in Vegas's management than I do in Seattle's.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mostly based off of what I've seen from the expansion draft. There's not much else to base off for Seattle, especially.
This is true.
Vegas, I've seen some good things. They traded for Jack Eichel. They traded for Nolan Patrick as well. I think might be underrated if he can come back.
I forgot they had Nolan Patrick now too.
Jeez. Yeah, 23 years old. If he can stay healthy, it might turn around. He's had some problems with headaches and like pretty constant headaches, so we'll see how that goes. I think they're cluster headaches, but yeah. But I mean, they've got some pieces. Like I said, they have an aging core, which is slightly worrying, especially at some of the contracts that these guys are on. I mean, Stone and Pietrangelo are both locked up on turf for quite a bit of money for another 6 years.
Kind of makes you think that like the Vegas management was just like, here's a blank contract, and then they just went like this, and we're just like, yeah, whatever. So
William Karlsson too, up another 5.9 for just as long. So I think they're better off, but it's not by much.
I think I agree with you, but what I also want to ask, my last question on this. Do you think the fan base in Vegas would have taken to them as well as they did if they were terrible? Do you think they would have flopped, or do you think they still would have been successful?
I think they would still be successful. Maybe not to the degree that they are now. I think Vegas is one of the few cities in the U.S. where they're a 100% a hockey team. But I think they'd still be successful, just maybe a little bit less.
Real quick, what are the places in America? Nashville, they love hockey down there.
Not more than they love football.
Really?
Titans, come on.
I guess, but I will say the fans in Nashville really take to that team.
Nashville has some very passionate fans, but I think it's still got to be the Titans. I think most cities are football. You look at like Minnesota. Detroit is another close one.
Don't say the Lions are bad for years.
Lions do fucking suck. So do the Pistons. So do the Tigers. Detroit might be the other city.
Yeah! Minnesota, like you said, I mean, they've got the Twins. They got the Vikings, I guess.
They got the Vikings.
Yeah,
they got
the Vikings. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what are they. San Jose. I mean, they got
they have San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
San Jose is just San Francisco.
Yeah.
They got the Giants, the Niners, especially.
Yeah, no, you're right. I know I gotta stick off the boards here, but I'm curious to think about other places.
Wouldn't be
anywhere in Texas, Carolina. Don't they only? No, they have the Panthers. They have a football team.
No, because that's in South Carolina, I think.
We may have the Hurricanes.
They play in North Carolina. North Carolina, not Raleigh.
The Hurricanes have no fans unless they're winning. We know this for a fact.
Yeah.
Before the Hurricanes were good, you could buy your family lower bowl seats for the low price of $10. That's cheaper than Buffalo. And I didn't think that was possible.
Columbus. I don't think there's another sports team in Columbus.
It's in Ohio. But I think you're right. You're right.
They're all like in Cincinnati and Cleveland. Nobody would go to Columbus. Because why would you?
That's true. All the small market NHL teams.
New Jersey.
I was about to say New Jersey, I guess, but do they have fans?
They have fans.
Okay.
They're mostly also Giants and Jets fans, but they're fans. Colorado, no, they're all probably Broncos fans. It's all football.
St. Louis? They don't have the Rams anymore.
They don't have the Rams, but they still have what's the basketball team in St. Louis?
There isn't a basketball team in St. Louis.
What's the baseball team?
I don't think
St. Louis.
I don't think there is a baseball
team. There's gotta be a baseball team.
I don't think there is, Ryan. I'm fairly certain that
the Blues. St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, I know you're right. Wow,
but said it's baseball. They might have a shot.
I'm about to say baseball.
Nobody actually likes baseball.
My brother does.
Nobody actually likes baseball.
I'm not even kidding. He literally looked at me and he's like, "I'd watch a baseball game." I'm like, "Yeah, if I went there, I'd watch a baseball game." But watching one on TV is so dry. The atmosphere of a baseball game in person is great.
Yeah, it's great in person. That's what most sports are.
That's true.
I put a baseball game on TV when it's Saturday morning and there's nothing else on, and then I put it on and look at my phone.
I'll put a baseball game on if it's playoffs, but it's not meaningful baseball. Like they play 168 games in a year.
If it's a Jays playoff game, I'll put it on in the background while I play cards with my friends. That's how much I care about baseball.
This is.
Other than that, other cities.
I don't think there is any. I'm looking at the list, man. Seattle, but like Seattle doesn't count yet.
The Seahawks.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about the Seahawks. Yeah, no, they have, those are the only places.
Dallas doesn't actually have a football team because the Dallas Cowboys play in Arlington, but it's a Cowboys city.
Yeah, they're a football city there, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's really all I had to say on that. I always found it interesting, or at least this year, that like it fascinated me how one expansion team went one way and the other expansion team just split and went the other way.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think again, Seattle just knew they had nothing to lose really. They knew they weren't going to have the penetration in their market that Vegas had. They knew that they could maybe be as competitive, but in the long term, it probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I think they could cooperate a little more, gotten some more assets they could have traded, and just it's okay to want to build out the draft and free agency. Just while you're doing that, get some value out of your assets. Get better assets to get more picks. That's all you gotta do.
Exactly. So let's move on from that. Man, you want to know what team you and me both hate?
Boston.
Yeah. How? Yeah. Like, bro, they're 8-1-1 right now in their last 10.
Yeah.
This team is, frankly, and I hate saying this, they're scaring the shit out of me, man. Like, I thought they were done. I thought they were dead. I thought we were beating a dead horse, but I mean, I knew Linus Allmark was good, man. He didn't get enough respect in Buffalo. I mean, the guy has started 31 games this year. He's 29-2. He's got a save percentage of 908, which is not great, and his goals against is a 2.73. But
that'd be great for a backup.
He's solid though. Like that's the. Oh, you want to talk about backups?
We're not getting into that conversation. We're not arguing about semantics anymore. I'm sorry I brought it up.
That was such a dumb argument.
It was.
But it's just like, hold on, I'm gonna look at Swayman stats because who started the majority of their games? Because I thought it was Allmark. Yeah, it's actually
Allmark 32 played.
Allmark and Swayman both have 30 games played. Swayman is 19-8-3 with a goals against of. This is why they're winning, 2.09 and a 925.
Yeah, Swayman's looked really good this year. I don't think he's a rookie, but
I think this is his technical rookie year.
It is his technical rookie year.
Yeah,
he played into 10 games last year and he looked even better, 9.45. So,
dude, he's a 4th round pick from 2017.
Yeah, I mean, he's a goalie. So, a 4th round pick's not that crazy.
But... I hate it. I hate it here. I hate goalies. I hate Boston. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop. You guys were done, okay? You guys were done. It was over, okay? This was the Panthers, Lightning, and Leafs race. There was no Boston. You guys were at 50 points, and they were at 70.
Josh, look on the bright side. If they take the number 3 spot, you guys get to play the fucking Metro. You don't have to play with the Atlantic in the first 2 rounds. You don't have to deal with the Atlantic.
I'll be honest. Either way,
fucking Lightning.
Here's the thing. So I was thinking about my ideal playoff matchups earlier. I know I said I didn't want to talk about the playoffs yet, the standings, but we know the 4 Atlantic teams that are going to be in the playoffs. All 4 of these teams are going to be in, and it's a matter of seeding. I was honestly,
the entire East is set.
Right now we play the Lightning, and I was like, in theory, let's say for somehow, I know Florida's not going to fall, but let's say Florida all of a sudden they're in the wild card seed. And the Lightning, Leafs, and Bruins are up. And the Leafs have to play the Bruins, and they have to play the Lightning in the second round. In my head, I don't want it any other way. Conquer the Dragon, slay your demons, and then go beat the back-to-back champs. But at the same time, Metro, please. Ding, 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 ding. Metro, please, put us there.
That's it. What you get from getting to play the Metro is playing the Hurricanes.
And honestly, Ryan, I'm going to beat Freddie Anderson in the first round. I'm going to do it.
See, I'm a fan of a situation where the Capitals jump up a little more and you guys fall to the second wildcard spot. And then you guys get to play Florida in the first round because then one of you two has to win a fucking playoff round. I want to force playoff success to one team.
Ryan's trying to force this to happen. Oh, I know you do, but Ryan's trying to force this through. He's like, the Leafs haven't won a playoff series since 04. I don't care anymore. Josh is too sad all the time. But at the same time, Florida's never won a playoff series. Let's just get him through.
Yeah, somebody has to win in the playoffs. It's happening. No more first round exits. No more of this shit. Somebody's getting through. It's going to be Florida, so I can really laugh at the Leafs.
I mean, and
longest playoff run in history.
In theory, I mean, technically, the Capitals could catch. I know they have 3 games. The Leafs have, and Bruins both, and everyone in the Atlantic has 3 games in hand over the Capitals, who only have 84 points. Man, I'm like, in my head for a second there, I was like, man, I didn't know the Metro was doing better than the Atlantic, and then I looked at games played, and I was like, oh, they're not. I was like, they have more games played. Like tomorrow, or the Leafs are playing the Bruins tonight. And, yeah, you know how I said slay the dragon, conquer your demons? Well, tonight's the night where y'all gotta show it. And, you know, I'm just gonna say it. The Leafs have a rookie starting tonight. The guy's name is, what did I say? It was like Nick, I gotta look it up on my phone. I know that I looked it up earlier. Hold on. It is Nick, A-B-R-U, Z-Z-E. Nick Abruzzi, I think is how you would pronounce this kid's name. Oh, never mind. He's not getting a chance tonight. Sorry. He skated with the team today. That made me think that he was playing tonight. Okay. LOL. Yeah, that's tough. Apparently, he's going to play with the Leafs. Someone said, the quote, where did I just see it?
Back.
In the near future was the quote.
Oh, come on. Josh,
no.
Is my webcam on?
What?
No, it isn't.
Your webcam was
My Discord crashed.
You're frozen.
My crap.
Well, as technical difficulties as Ryan is trying to tell me his Discord crashed. I'm sorry, I had to for a second.
Can I still see you or no?
I have your frozen webcam and you're very choppy. Oh, now you're moving slightly. Okay. I just saw your head move.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see and hear you now.
Okay. Oh, it's coming back. It's coming back slowly.
You're frozoned again? Okay, now I can see you. Yeah, you're back.
Alright. Technical difficulties. What was I gonna say? Before I got cut off? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's about time where rookies are gonna start. You're seeing some appearances from them.
Yeah.
You know, NCAA and some junior leagues are starting to wrap up a bit. I know so you're gonna see a few of those rookies start coming in. So you're gonna see who might be playing around in a playoff run with teams. You're also gonna start hearing of rookies who will join their team AHL teams for the playoffs, which would be pretty cool. So like the Habs, Caden Gooley, Jan Mysek, and Arbor Jacki are all gonna be joining the Rocket for the playoff run. Jordan Harris is joining the team in Florida for our team, for the Habs. So yeah, I think there's a lot of you're gonna see a lot of these rookies start making some noise soon here.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the Leafs sent Nick Robertson down, but they said that the last time he was up was the best they've ever seen from the kid, and apparently Sheldon Keefe told him what he had to work on, and so I expect to see him before the playoffs starts back on the Leafs squad again. But yeah, like I said, I really hope that the Leafs beat the Bruins tonight. I don't know, like my rant. Here's my Leafs rant for this week. Do I trust the Leafs goaltending? I don't know, man. Mrazek showed me a lot of weird stuff at the beginning of this year, but I gotta say, the last 2 games I've seen him play have been pretty solid. I mean, he beat Florida, and then the game before that, I can't remember who he beat. I gotta go look. Yeah, so he beat Florida, and then I'm pretty sure he played this game against the Devils. Yeah, he did. He played that game against the Devils. He let in 2. And, like, I don't know. I'm not like it's that game against Florida was a back-to-back. Florida was also on a back-to-back. The Leafs ended up winning 5-2. Really good game from the Leafs. Strong game from Mitch Marner. Strong game from Austin, who pots his 48th goal of the year to get back to his 1-goal lead on Leon Draisaitl. This guy's winning the Hart. I don't care what anyone says. And the Rocket.
Who?
Austin Matthews. Leon Draisaitl can get out of here. Stop it. Stop it. Okay? Stop it. Tell him to stop scoring all these goals all of a sudden. Where did he come from?
Is he gonna win the Hart, Josh?
Look, he's in my heart. He will.
I think he could maybe win the Maurice Richard, assuming Draisaitl slows down a bit. Which good luck.
Draisaitl should stop.
And assuming Chris Kreider and Alex Ovechkin don't do anything crazy. So again, good luck. In terms of Hart, I think it's still going to be McDavid. It's still going to be McDavid winning the Hart Trophy this year. It might be Draisaitl, maybe, but I doubt it.
So, I'll talk about this game now. The Leafs on the weekend. Saturday night in Montreal, my parents were at this game, and the Leafs didn't even put on a stinker. Like the Leafs outplayed the Habs from every puck drop. They had, I don't even know what that says. 51-18. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know why Ryan's hair humping right now, but the thing is, here's the thing, right? Like Ryan said, the Leafs had 51 shots. Jake Allen stops 49 of 51. The Habs went 4-2. They got an empty netter, so it was really 4-3. Shalgren let in. Actually, Ryan, it was 17 shots. They have Shalgren that are 17 shots on a goalie, because that empty net goal counts as a shot, obviously. But Shalgren let in. He stopped 14 of 17. And like I said, the Leafs outplayed the Habs on every puck drop and just got stonewalled by Jake Allen for some reason. Cough, cough. Why is he playing? Why did he do that? Like, out of every game, of course. Like, and that's the thing that pisses
because
me
he's
off.
A great backup.
He's not a backup. And so, yeah, you guys have Lauren Dauphin on this team since when?
Lauren Dauphin? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's typical Leafs. You lose to the worst team out of the two you face, and you lose the game you're supposed to win, and then you win the game you're supposed to lose. I never understand this team, and I don't think I ever will. But like I said, the Leafs had 109 shot attempts in this game, and they lost to a team that took 17 shots on a goalie. This is why I don't
total shots.
This is why I don't have this is why when I say my confidence is it's. If Jack Campbell comes back and is half of what he was in November, I'll be happy. If he's what he was in February and January, I'm gonna crap my pants a little bit. But I have confidence in Allen, or not in Allen, in Campbell, because of what he said at the end of the playoff series last year against Montreal. That clip I showed on the show a long time ago, where he's crying and he says, "I need to do better, so I'll be better." And the guy expects a lot from himself, and playing in Toronto, it's a lot in your head. So I'm assuming it's a lot of what's going on with him right now. So I'm kind of, like I said, it's not a good thing that he got injured, but it's kind of probably better for his psyche, because now he's got a chance to settle himself down, get himself back in playing shape, and get his head back into the game, get reset, and get going again. Because we're gonna need you down the stretch. I can tell you that for damn sure. But I don't know. I'll be honest, Giordano has looked solid. He hasn't really he got us out of a penalty, which was cool. It's the first time I've ever seen a player do that for the Leafs. He just was like, that wasn't a penalty. And the ref was like, what? Okay, we'll look at it. And then they pulled him out of the penalty box. I was like, you can do that? It's like, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could tell the ref that he was wrong to his face and then have him go.
The rep forgot that Giordano was wearing a Maple Leaf on his jersey and not an Oilers logo. Or a Calgary logo.
Flames, if we have any Calgary fans, you just set them that off. But that's the thing. I'm like, you can do that? He doesn't even have an A or a C on his chest, and the refs are like, okay, he's got gray hair on his face. That's good enough. You're
not supposed to talk to the refs if he doesn't have an A or C on his chest, but it's okay.
No, I'm not saying he wasn't allowed to.
You guys need the help. You need the help.
Oh, definitely, man. I like. Here's the thing, right?
He
Like the
knows.
Leafs.
He knows.
Of course I do. So the Leafs, you know, this is gonna take us. This can segue us into trivia real quick. So because I do have a question that I came up with earlier today. Ryan's probably just gonna be able to guess it, but it's fine because he might be able to just guess from the topic. So Ryan, obviously, when it comes down to it in the playoffs, normally the game doesn't come down to a guy like Patrick Kane, Austin Matthews, Alex Ovechkin. It normally comes down to someone who's what? No,
it doesn't. It comes down to goaltending and tough defensemen.
And but even like the last goal, the game-winning goal, it normally never comes down to a superstar. It's always someone that's just like, old Joe Smo came in clutch in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Lars Eller.
Yeah. And so, like, what I'm saying is, like, the Leafs, I'm kind of glad we got a guy like Colin Blackwell, and we have young guys coming in because it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, obviously, we hope that Austin and Mitch and John Tavares and William Nylander are productive in the Leafs playoffs run, or at least I do. But I know at the end of the day, these games are going to come down to guys like Envol, Blackwell, Kerfoot, Spezza, Simmons. Like, it's going to come down to production from these guys, too, at the end of the day. And so, like I said, I'm really happy that the Leafs did go and get a guy like that. We've got guys coming up. But what I'm segueing us into here is Ryan. There are a lot of teams in the NHL who have had their playoff runs ended by one of these players. Now, Ryan, I gotta hold on. I gotta look at the actual year because I'm gonna get it wrong and you're gonna roast me.
I close this list of Stanley Cup champions where I'm looking at the list of guys who scored Stanley Cup winning goals.
You freaking goof! He's gonna know the answer.
Whoops! I didn't look at like anything past like the past 5 years. I know like the last like 3 or 4. My bad. You should have said, "Here's your trivia question," not just, "Oh, let's bring up these guys that score these goals." I was like, "Oh, I wonder who else has done that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, Ross Colton."
This fucking guy. Okay, fine, Ryan.
Yeah.
If
you asked me who scored the, okay, never mind.
In 2013, who scored the game-winning goal for the Chicago Blackhawks to win the Stanley Cup?
Duncan Keith.
No.
Wait, 2013?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Who was it?
Wait, no. 2010 was the Flyers, and that was Patrick Kane.
Correct.
Who the fuck was 2013? Who did they beat in 2013?
The Bruins.
They beat the Bruins? Get fucked, Bruins.
Yeah.
It wasn't Patrick Kane.
Nope.
It wasn't Duncan Keith.
Nope.
It would have been a depth guy.
Yep.
I'm going to assume probably not a defenseman.
This guy signed somewhere else in the offseason.
In 2013, he left.
Yep.
Free agency?
In that offseason, he left via free agency.
Dustin Bufflin.
Nope.
No.
You were right on the depth role, but I think this guy was playing second line back then.
Renshaw got traded.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you'll get this guy because he hasn't played in the NHL for a little bit.
How long? It's not like Jarmelson, was it?
Forward.
Yeah, because
Forward.
Hossa didn't leave.
Yeah.
Hossa stayed. Taze was a first liner. Brinkett wasn't there.
Center.
Was a center?
Was the center.
Who was second line center to fucking Jonathan Taze?
Are you asking me?
I'm thinking. 2013 was like right before I really got into hockey. Like I was always a hockey fan when I was a kid.
He signed with Toronto in the offseason.
Oh, so he's a fucking loser.
Well, he ended up doing like he started off the world on fire for us, and then he immediately got hurt and never played again.
Oh, was he on like Robtus Island? Was he a guy that you guys LTIR'd?
Yeah.
Was it Luke Robitaille?
No, it was Dave Bolin.
Dave Bolin? Oh my god. Okay.
Dave Bolin was one of the first players on Robot Island. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, in 2015.
Luke Robitaille?
What?
Did I say Luke Robitaille?
You said Robada.
I'm losing my mind. I'm pretty sure I said Luke Robitaille. Obviously not.
Robitaille Island.
Luke Robitaille. Obviously not Luke Robitaille.
Robida Island. Is that what his name? I can't remember what his first name was. It's defenseman. Wasn't Shane?
Stefan Robitaille.
Is it Stefan?
Stefan.
Yeah,
Stefan. Okay. Stefan Robitaille. Robitaille.
Let's see. Well, I'll ask you one more about a playoff run, and this was an overtime winner. Ryan, in 2014, the Los Angeles Kings.
Alex Martinez.
Okay, fine. I don't fuck myself.
Or Alec Martinez, sorry.
Hey Ryan, in 2018, the Washington Capitals last goal. Hey Ryan.
You asked me 93. I don't know it.
He's never gonna get this one. Hey Ryan, in the 2000s, in the year 2000, the New Jersey Devils beat the Dallas Stars. Who scored that goal in overtime?
In overtime? Yzerman. No, not Yzerman.
You're never Ryan, you're never.
I'm never gonna guess this.
It's Jason Arnett. With Larry Robinson at interim head coach, won them a Stanley Cup against Larry Robinson.
Bruh.
That's a weird playoff series to me. Or sorry, no, the Stars had
2000s, a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, the Stars had Ken Hitchcock. Sorry, I read the thing wrong.
Yeah.
Wait, did Daryl Sittler's been in the finals a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, he was there with the Flames in 2004, and then he was there with the Kings in 2012, there with the Kings in 2014. I mean, I know he hasn't been back since then, but, it's interesting. The names you see reoccurring on this list. Joe Quenneville a lot, Claude Julien.
Yeah.
Not really a lot of other ones I see a lot of. Mike Babcock, obviously, in, the early years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Joel Quenneville just because Chicago, but fuck that guy.
Yeah, kind of a bad human.
No, not a bunch of other guys.
Carlisle was I didn't know that.
Noted hockey terrorist Dom Ducharme.
Noted hockey terrorist.
Yeah, Dominic Ducharme. He robbed Cole Caulfield of a goddamn Calder. He robbed us of a fucking season, by the way. On top of that.
Did he?
If we'd been playing all season like we have been under Martin St. Louis, we'd be a playoff team.
Why'd you trust the guy? He 38 games last year. He was 15-6-7.
He took us to the finals.
You were 13-9.
Took us to the finals.
You were Ryan. I gotta say, you guys' head coach had nothing to do with that. It was guys like Carey Price and Shea Weber who was like, "I'm gonna put the whole team on my back." Carey Price was
hindsight's 2020, Josh.
Carey Price said, "Get on, boys, we're going."
Hindsight's 2020.
He was the coach of the Mooseheads.
Yeah, huh. Won the Memorial Cup champion.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that was to be fair. He had Jonathan Drouin and Nate McKinnon that year.
Yeah, he did.
You had a pretty good team, or at least a pretty good first line.
Yeah.
That's funny, but
hey, they swept the Sea Dogs that year, though.
That is true. We are
good for them.
We are 54 minutes in, and Ryan, do you got anything else cooking here?
I got one piece of news.
What's the piece of news? Can I hold on? Can I play brass? But is it longer than 1 minute and 26 seconds?
It might be.
Okay, go ahead. I won't do it then.
The Board of Governors has met. I'm just now realizing it won't be. The Board of Governors have met. The salary cap will go up $1 million next year to $82.5 million.
That's where it was before the pandemic, actually, I'm pretty sure.
Not because I think it was 80.5 back then.
Oh, okay, well,
yeah.
I am playing Brass Bonanza right now, but what I will say is it's interesting that's always good for the league. We see increases, especially if you're a team like the Leafs who would need that cap relief. Woo! Let's go cap relief. Let's go LTIR. It's gonna come in spades for the Leafs in the playoffs this year.
Habs can use it.
You know what's gonna happen? They're gonna change that rule. They just changed the playoff rule in the NFL, so rule changes are coming, boys. I got a singing feeling the LTIR excuse ain't gonna be around for much longer.
Oh, that's absolutely gonna get changed, like, soon.
That's what I mean.
Half the NHL teams in the league, half the teams in the league are using it to get under the cap right now.
100%. It's a dumb rule, but anyways, guys, we will be back again hopefully next week. Hopefully Ethan will join us. We together, I've been Josh, that over there, wherever he over there, that has been Ryan. And together we have been Off the Boards. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good one, y'all.
Well, the Coyotes